All right, everyone, I should be live. Let's make sure that's actually the case. Over on Rumble, of course. I had a little bit of a technical difficulty there. I had to restart the Wi-Fi adapter, and it was sort of screwing up. We have all sorts of cool news today. We have, of course, the Nazi Olympics. We're going to be briefly discussing that. No link in the description for that particular story. It was just a thought that I had the other day. Painter of truly the worst Trump portrait says president's comments threaten her art career. Yeah. The dire wolf is back. We have de-extinction. This is something that I've promoted for some time. Thankfully, it appears to actually be the case. It feels terrifying. Why some Americans are anxious about traveling abroad under Trump. Oh my God, yeah, because the United States government clearly speaks to your personal political proclivities. If I applied that to other people in the world, I don't think they'd be rather happy about that. Ancient settlement reveals remains of 1800-year-old dog, baffling experts, preserved quite well. Dog sacrifices were meant to purify land and houses in antiquity, says expert. Very, very interesting, by the way. So we get a lot of science news today. Trump goes after federal unions. It's about time. Navarro, Vietnam's zero tariff offer means nothing. It's the non-tariff cheating that matters. Well, we'll get into that. I happen to be a fan of the Vietnamese for multiple reasons. Yeah. So, we're going to be a sellout. Drink Starbucks, actually. I needed that. I needed some caffeine, what can I say? It was the first thing that I saw, so, I just grabbed one. And it's dirt cheap, actually, when you think about it for what you're getting. You get a double shot of espresso. We're going to be having some fun. Mostly this will be a Bant stream. That being said, we do have news that we have to get to. First, though, I wanted to talk about a thought that I had the other day about the Nazi Olympics. Do you remember back in the NSDAP era when the Olympics were loaded with literal transvestites? The Nazis were taking men, dressing them up in skirts, and saying, you're a woman now, ha ha ha, so, you're going to compete better generally. Isn't that exactly what's happening now? It's very, very funny that the people that are against this are the ones that are being labeled Nazis. I just wanted to point this out. It's just a point that I wanted to make. Mike L., does Bovrite work well as lube? I wouldn't know. I haven't done that. Probably, I guess. Might be a little bit salty for that particular work. I prefer using pussy juice as lube. That's the best one. Yeah, pre-59 Cuban, the East Germans had all the chicks with dicks. They absolutely did. And I was looking at like the modern Olympics and sports in general. And I was thinking, God, this sounds familiar. Oh shit. Oh, yeah, that's wonderful. The Soviets and the Nazis are the ones that predominantly engaged in that behavior. Now we're doing the same thing. What does that say about us? Interesting. Read super chat, please. Don't worry, I'll get to it. Does both? Oh, I already read that one. No, I don't know if Bovrite is good as lube. Star, could Styx be trying to break free from his temporary sleep paralysis? I don't really get sleep paralysis, I'm just an insomniac. It's very difficult for me to actually sleep. Like last night, I was up till 2:30 or something like that. I'm laying there for several hours. I just couldn't get to sleep. It was impossible. It's terrible. That's why I don't drink caffeine after roughly noon or thereabouts. I gotta say, while I'm not a fan of Starbucks as a company, yeah, that's pretty good. Bog, perform sleep spell on self. I don't think that that'll work, my dude. When will Styx finally respond to PPP and Warski? Never. I don't respond to irrelevant people. Not interested. They can, I mean, if Warski wants to stab me in the back, that's perfectly fine. PPP had a problem with me for literally no reason right off the bat. I never understood exactly why he was pissed at me. Whatever. Painter of truly the worst Trump portrait says president's comments threaten her art career. In a statement published to her personal website, portraitist Sarah A. Boardman said Trump's allegation that she purposefully distorted this image was directly and negatively impacting my business, which is now in danger of not recovering. It's funny. I thought that there were a lot of people who didn't give a fuck what Donald Trump said. Well, he seems to be remarkably effective in this particular situation. Boardman's painting had hung alongside portraits of other U.S. presidents at the state capitol in Denver for almost 6 years before Trump voiced his displeasure with the artwork on social media last month. The work was subsequently removed at the request of Republicans, including Colorado Senate Minority Leader Paul Lundeen, who said it should be replaced with one depicting Trump's contemporary likeness, the Associated Press reported at the time. And you can go to the link in the description, of course, archived. That does not look really like Donald Trump. It's not the most terrible picture that could be made. Like, it doesn't look like it's deliberately distorted. It just, it's not really lifelike. There's a problem with it. And it looks a little bit childish, actually. It makes Donald Trump look younger, oddly enough. Doesn't really represent his hair either. So it's not like the most, I wouldn't say that this is the most terrible possible picture you could make of Donald Trump. But I would say this is not something that should be in a state rotunda. It's not lifelike. It's not a representation of how he actually looks. That's the whole problem. I wouldn't say necessarily, as Trump did, that it's the worst, but it's not good either. So, yeah. You can look at it for yourself. You can judge for yourself. The stream is frozen. Is my stream frozen over on YouTube? Please tell me, can you see my stream? Somebody's saying that the stream is frozen over on Rumble. So please, people both on Rumble and YouTube, if you're saying yes, then it means that the stream is not frozen. Huh. I don't know what's going on. Consistent tech issues all of the goddamn time. And it's not just on Rumble, by the way. Let's get to our sponsors before we continue with the news. We have cultivated-mind.com, where you can get radiant energy. Also, you can get immune renew and other mushroom pills as well. They work well. I took 2 of them this morning. There's a reason that I take them. It's the only thing keeping me going. Speaking of keeping me going, we've also got BiltongUSA.com. Anton is over in chat on Rumble. He has his own show that he does, by the way, and cooks food. And he should definitely do cooking food because that biltong is absolutely delicious. Also, he can set you up with Vegemite, Marmite, Ovrite, all sorts of crazy stuff. I never even knew that half of these things existed until he set me up with them. And we've also got Sticks, Hex, and Hammer mugs and tumblers available as well now, too. Use code STICKS for 10% off. And finally, jamandbean.com. That is Jamn bean.com, which I like to sniff at least once a day. Their tea is good. Their coffee is good. We've got Clank Blend. Just trust me. Go with Jam and Bean. Excellent stuff. King of Biltong. Thank you, Sticks. Yes, you get an extra shout out each day. You don't even have to pay for it. There's a reason for that, my friend. God damn, this Bovrite alone. Yeah, I've got 3 jars of it on the other side here. Ha 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 ha. Ha ha. I am the king of Bovrite. Delicious. Yeah, I'm gonna spread all 3 of them on some toast, I think, later. I was trying to get English muffins, but I went to 2 stores, right? And neither of them had proper English muffins, like the ones that are really crenellated. And I was gonna, like, heavily butter them and then spread some of this on them, but I couldn't find any. They weren't there. I'm like, I'm not gonna go 5 miles out of my way just to get fucking English muffins. It's just not gonna fucking happen. I don't know. Whatever. Let's see. Somebody was mentioning Jeremy. Just a sec. Misha, did Jeremy quit streaming on YouTube? I do not believe so. He's in a little bit of a transitory period right now. Like, there was a reason I wasn't on his show the other day. I offered to be. I offered to do it for free, actually, because I'm like, you know, I like you, you did me a solid, you're a great dude, and so, you know, let's keep up the show. But he insists on paying the people that are associated with him, so he said no, actually. It was sad. I was like, oh, I don't get to go on the Jeremy stream. Alamandorius. Whew, snow day, so I get to show up on time. Hey, Sticks, glad to hear Trump got those SCOTUS wins. Yes, indeed. Hopefully he keeps getting those wins. Also, have you tried HP sauce? HP sauce? I don't know what that is, actually. Tigers are my totem. Please shout out the Via Media, available on YouTube, Spotify, and other sites. Highlighted songs on Tigers Are My Totem. Consider that a shout out. Helios Ending. Sticks, you need to set up a proper camera mic PC rig. Dan Malone 53 sent 10 bucks. No comment. Thank you very much. We're gonna talk about wolves. This is gonna be a fun story. The return of the dire wolf. Romulus and Remus are doing what puppies do. Chasing, tussling, nipping, nuzzling. There's nothing very unpuppy-like about the snowy white 6-month-olds. Their size, for starters, at their young age, they already measure nearly 4 feet long. Tip the scales at 80 pounds, and could grow to 6 feet and 150 pounds. Then there's their behavior, the angelic exuberance puppies exhibit in the presence of humans. Trotting up for hugs, belly rubs, kisses is completely absent. They keep their distance, retreating if a person approaches. Even one of the handlers who raised them from birth can get only so close before Romulus and Remus flinch and retreat. This isn't domestic canine behavior. This is wild lupine behavior. The pups are wolves. Not only that, they're dire wolves, which means they have a cause to be lonely. Apparently, they have actually de-extincted a species for the first time. The dire wolf is back, and I couldn't be more fucking excited about this. Like, this is 10 out of 10 goddamn news. I want one as a pet myself. The dire wolf effectively went extinct thousands of years ago, around the time of the mammoths and the saber-toothed tiger and things like that. And what I've claimed, well, what I've pushed for, is de-extinction is a good thing, but you must de-extinct animals that have a contemporary similar relative, something to be a surrogate for behavioral purposes, and you need to bring back more than one. For instance, if you were to bring back one woolly mammoth, it would be a rather sad state now, wouldn't it? The mammoth wouldn't have anyone to communicate with. It wouldn't have anything to learn from. It would simply be a loner. It would be a one-off. It would only be for human activity, basically. The only thing active with it would be human beings. It would be for their own benefit. I think if we're going to de-extinct species, we need to de-extinct them in larger numbers, and there needs to be surrogates. I mean, you can't really bring back, like, for example, the velociraptor or something. There'd be nothing to give birth to it, nothing to imprint upon it. It's impossible. While I would love that, I would love to have a T-Rex to ride. That's not going to happen. But you can bring back dire wolves, cave bears, which are basically, you'd have to have brown bears probably as surrogates. You could have the giant ground sloth. It would be possible to do that. You could have the saber-toothed tiger. We have contemporary species that are probably capable of birthing them, and so forth. So things from that general era, the Stone Age, basically, the Ice Age, you can bring those back. It's possible. Mammoths would be on there, potentially mastodons and so forth. But you can't really bring back, unfortunately, and I do say unfortunately, like trilobites or dinosaurs or something like that. It would be so great to be able to ride a dinosaur. That is not going to happen, sadly. Yeah, the Gunslinger, Jurassic Park theme plays in background. I became obsessed with science, actually, after watching that movie. That's the key to half of my success. BW, this cloning is bad idea. Nature wiped that species out for good reason. Environment could not support them. Head slap. I disagree. I have a feeling that the environment now is a little bit different from the environment in which they went extinct in. The same would be true for other contemporary species. We have the ability to bring them back. We should do so. Clone them, make hundreds of them, let them go free, and then see what happens. Maybe they live, maybe they don't live. At the very least, we can give them a fighting chance for genetic purposes. Alamandorius, Fat Finger Syndrome, HP Sauce. Huh. Never heard of that. Interesting. Yeah. Professor Fear, how do they taste? Yeah, it'll only be a matter of time before somebody hunts one of these dire wolves and says, oh, yeah, I made a steak. That's entirely possible. In fact, it would surprise me if that doesn't occur. Alan Smithy, so since we're remembering Jurassic Park, now remember the real lesson of JP. Pay your IT staff handsomely. Yes, indeed. You've got butterfingers. Jurassic Park is one of the greatest movies ever. I love it when the young girl there says, it's an interactive CD-ROM. That was really, really technological at the time. Now it's like, oh, and now it's ancient history. Plug in the USB port. Dire wolf would probably taste like any other canid, I would assume. But yeah, for the first time, the human race has managed to de-extinct a species. While it's not earth-shattering, because of course there are already other kinds of wolves in the world, it's definitely progress, significant progress. Yeah. Somebody can clone me. They can assault me, I suppose. Copium poppies. I want genetically engineered mini orcas that are small enough to live as small pods in home aquariums and be fed feeder goldfish. That's not a great idea, because orcas are highly intelligent. They get bored easily. This is why SeaWorld should not exist, for example. So I wouldn't support that. But if you're bringing back, dire wolves, and you're letting them go in the wild, letting them reproduce, they'll probably interbreed with other canids anyway. So you'll end up with that genetic lineage being actually improved by that. BW, how long will Dems hero China hold out on tariffs? Probably not for very long. If Vietnam is any indicator, we'll be talking about that in a few moments. China's going to crack pretty quickly. Now, Smithy, my own clone. Now neither of us will be virgins. Yeah, if I had a clone, we'd be teaming up to do piratical things. I'll just clone myself several dozen times, we'll buy a trawler, and then we'll go to war, you know? That sounds fun. Twisted Gamer, how long till someone has a pet direwolf? I think that that's going to be some years out. I do hope that they perpetuate the species. They're capable of surviving. Also, they look amazing. I mean, they look cute, actually. Like, cuter than normal wolves. They're all puffy and shit. I'm assuming that somebody will turn them into a pet at some point. Probably cost several $1,000,000, but, you know, anything can and does happen. Muddy Drip. Your theory could destroy a biome. African bulldog in North America is a good example. They would push out other native predators. Bad take. I don't care. I think that whatever lives best within a biome should be apex within the biome. I don't care if it's invasive or not. Just look at Florida. It's a melting pot of thousands and thousands of weird invasive species. Some of them live, and some of them don't. For instance, there were cobras seen there briefly. They don't appear to be there anymore. They did not make it. There was at least one report of an orangutan there. The skunk ape that people have talked about so frequently in Florida, that was an orangutan, a large male orangutan. It's gone now. It died somewhere out in the jungle. Florida is probably the greatest example of how invasive species actually work. Some of them live, and some of them die. If they're capable of living in the biome, why not let them live in the biome? If they're not capable of living in the biome, the problem takes care of itself. Star, holler for a marshal? First you want to step to me, now you ask screaming to the deputy. BW, real accomplishment will be when they figure out how to place our brains in other bodies. We can be immortal and choose our body, not that it would be for us. You're already immortal. You don't have to worry about that. When you die, you're not going anywhere. Your body decays, your brain melts, and so forth. The self remains. Don't worry about death. Baron of Grey Matter, dire wolves couldn't compete with grey wolves. Well, we'll see. When they reintroduce them, it's entirely possible that this time around, maybe the dire wolves get the upper hand. Honestly, I don't want either of them to die out. Here in Vermont, this pisses me off, actually. Let me tell you a I'm pissed off story. Here in Vermont, years and years ago, wolves were hunted to extinction in the state. They were native to the state. And they have tried over and over and over again to try to reintroduce them to the state. Specifically timber wolves. Those were the ones that were native to the region. And over and over and over, people say, no, you can't do that. They might pick off one of my cows. I'm sitting there saying, they were already here. They were here before you and your cows were here. Why don't you fuck yourself? I would love to see a pack of wolves. I'm not afraid of them at all. We've already got coyotes. Like a coyote can't pick off a couple of your rabbits or something like that. Fucking retarded is what it is. Wolves are cool. Helios Ending. Sticks, have you tried past life regression? No, because it does not work. It is not possible to remember your past lives. I hate to tell all of you mystics out here, but you're deluding yourselves. It is impossible to remember it because the brain is a physical object. That is the repository of your memories. When you die, you will reincarnate. You will remember nothing about any of your past lives. I have no clue what I was in my past life. Neither do you. You can go to somebody who will charge you money to tell you what you were in a past life, or you can delude yourself with some sort of fake magic. But past life regression is not really a thing. Sorry. You forget about each life in turn and then come back. Works for me. Although I would love to remember how fucking cool I look right now as a goddamn pirate, I will not be able to. That's sad. But the thing is, I won't realize that it's sad because I won't remember that I even existed. Sorry, Save Trump, you're going to come back. Maybe not to this world, but you will be reincarnated. It will happen forever. Reverend Jonathan Wint. Oh, Styx, so close, so wrong. You can remember your past lives 100%. Sadly, no luck for a fact. Destroy your karma with the fire of self-knowledge. I know about my true self, but I cannot remember physical past lives. It is not physically possible. I will not remember this life once I die. I will be lost forever. The me that is inside of me, the spirit will remain. But the physical body, the one that actually takes in vision and hearing and things like that, that has memories, that has experiences, that will all be lost. It will be gone. Oh, Cam Crowder is in this time slot? Ah, shit. Oh, maybe I have to change my time slot. Huh. 647 Lapua. Bring back saber-toothed tigers. Absolutely agree with you. Yes, when you are reincarnated, here is what will happen. Your body dies, it decays, your memories are gone, and then your spirit transfers to a new body. Now, in between lives, assuming there is an in between, I cannot tell you what happens. You have multiple theories. David Chan, you have the methodology of the Tibetan Book of the Dead. Some systems are karmic, some systems are uncontrollable and non-karmic. We're not entirely sure because we can't know that. It's impossible. I will do everything that I can to have a favorable life in my next life. Hopefully I come back as some sort of whack-ass space alien or something like that. But I can't guarantee that. I do not know what happens between lives. I don't claim to know. And I think that anyone that does claim to know is a goddamn charlatan. I do know, though, that I will be back, and it will be funny as fuck. Money Drip. Difference between an animal going extinct because of humans versus naturally dying out. I'd be for reintroduction of a previous, but not an ancient one. I don't see the problem with either. Honestly, I don't see the problem with reincarnating the dire wolf. Look, we literally just de-extincted a species. Isn't that exciting to you? I find it fascinating. Based acid fox. Arr, Sticks, they've given ye misery, 'cause you did some time in the brig, matey. Yeah, no, I think I'm getting shit from websites algorithmically more than anything else. But yeah, I didn't know I was competing with Crowder. He's got a much larger audience, so I should push push it forward or something like that. Well, no, then I'd be competing with I don't want to compete with Jeremy. And I can't compete with Russell Brand. I mean, I know my limitations, obviously. Shit, what am I going to do? I could push it back an hour. Who goes on roughly at 10? Stephen Nizick, news. Direwolf reincarnated. Sean Bean, winter is coming. Yeah, I could go earlier. The problem is then I have to wake up earlier in order to make my one-off videos before I do the live stream. I could do a morning show, I suppose. Maybe I could do like the live stream and then do the one-off videos. I'll figure it out. It's all good. 10 would be good. War Room ends at 10. Yeah, you can't really compete with War Room. Adams and War Room are on at 10. Okay. I'm going to have to look at the schedule. While I would love to be, you know, particularly imbued with power by Rumble and be put on their front page, that time appears to have ended, unfortunately. Elemendorius, listening to you while playing Mass Effect, and suddenly you cut out because apparently the browser ran out of memory. It never happened before. Sorry that I destroyed your browser. Alan Smithy, he thought the cycle of death and rebirth was for one lifetime only. He mad. Yeah, no, you've been around for a very, very long time. Every single one of you. Every sentient being has been around for trillions of years, actually. The universe doesn't have any beginning, and it doesn't have any ending. I know this. I've seen it myself. There are other realms as well that you can trespass on, should you want to. Pretty much depends on what you want. About 0.123% of your subs are watching. Yeah, I know, because the algorithm fucking hates me. And it's really a problem. Oh, I love this story. It feels terrifying. Why some Americans are anxious about traveling abroad under Trump. The idea, it talks about Denmark specifically. Now, no Danish person ever had a problem with me, and I've never had a problem with any Danish person. In fact, if you look at their food, oh boy, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Sugar brown potatoes, yeah, one of their national dishes, if I remember correctly. Here's the problem. People often refer to other countries, and they refer to the people generically, even though it's the government that is actually making policy. So you may have somebody in the United States who's like really, they're like further left than Bernie Sanders. They're going to another country and they're getting nervous because they think that they'll be judged based on Donald Trump's policy. Or somebody from Denmark with a relatively liberal government. They come to the United States and they think, oh my God, I'm a fish out of water. It's a completely different culture. Ultimately, at the end of the day, I reject this concept. I reject this notion. I've met people from pretty much every country in the world. I think Turkmenistan and North Korea are probably the only countries left where I've not talked to a person from that country. I've talked to people in fucking Kazakhstan. I've talked to people in fucking Uganda. I've talked to people in fucking Malawi. I've talked to people in Ecuador. I've talked to people in Mexico, etc., etc. And what I have noticed is that there's usually a disconnect between the people and the actual governing force that happens to exist there. The same is true in the US. Not every American supports what Trump is doing. I support much of what he's doing, but I don't support all of what he's doing. That being said, if I go to fucking Denmark, of all places especially, I'm not going to feel intimidated by the local population simply because the Danish government and the US government are currently not fully getting along. It's not going to piss me off. It doesn't make me hate the Danish, of course not, and it certainly doesn't make me feel afraid. I don't understand this. Legacy media article, of course, it would be from CNN too. Gaia Wall, founder of Social Tours, a Kathmandu-based operator, okay, keep that in context, that specializes in creating customized, locally focused itineraries, recently experienced a first in his 20-plus year career, an American client backing out of a Nepal trip over his fears of traveling abroad during the U.S. administration. He then goes on to talk about Denmark as well. I just had Nepalese food the other day. By the way, it was absolutely spectacular. It was one of the best dishes I've ever had in my life. Base camp over in Lebanon, New Hampshire. Definitely, if you're over there, fucking go. Get the wild boar ribs, dude. Adonis Adams, how do you go about organizing a protest? You wave a sign around and hopefully get other people going too. The Grizzly, at some point things are going to break because some San Francisco judge is going to do something like declare that Trump can't be president. Good luck to them. Tom, what happened to you, Sticks? Your viewers are way low lately and you don't seem like yourself. The viewership is lower because people are not being notified of the videos, and I am consistently algorithmically demoted. And that's been the case now for months, actually. It's getting worse over time. What happens is that when I upload a video or I start doing a live stream, nobody knows that it even exists. It's impossible for people to compensate for this. Even if everyone were to share out this live stream, it would raise the viewership by maybe 200 or 300 viewers. And that's the best that I can hope for. And that's assuming 100% engagement. That's the way the algorithm works now. YouTube is absolutely demoting me. I am absolutely certain of it. You can't go from getting an average of 60, 70,000 views on a video to 10,000 views on a video unless something is terribly wrong. And it's not something that I've done wrong. I know this because I'm using the same formula that I was using before. It has nothing to do with the subscriber count. It has nothing to do with the tagging. It has nothing to do with the descriptions. If anything, I've uplifted those over time. I've adapted to the algorithm. That's the only reason that my channel's still a fucking live. And over on Rumble, it appears that they've algorithmically demoted me as well. They're certainly not promoting me. Yeah, I went from 2,000 or 3,000 viewers to 200 or 300 viewers. That makes a whole lot of sense, considering the number of subscribers I have. It's not my fault. It's absolutely not my fault, dude. Some people have said, well, you're just getting stale. Okay, that's a precipitous drop in a very small amount of time. That's the result of something that's measured in zeros and ones. It's not the result of anything that I did. I'm well aware of this fact. Gordon Huskin, the pirate hat is fucking gay. I get complimented on it constantly. Cool gothy chick in the gas station the other day was like, oh, I love your outfit. A little bit flirtatious. Kate Greenham, those Starbucks canned drinks are amazing. I agree. It's the only good thing that they make. A little bit sugary for me, but yeah. Alamandorius. You know what else I've noticed that's kind of funny? Sometimes when I share a YouTube video to Facebook, Facebook will change the thumbnail and title. This doesn't surprise me at all. These companies are conspiring against us, basically. They don't want independent content. It used to be that they facilitated us. Now they facilitate CNN and Cenk Uygur and other retards. They don't want us to be visible. They don't want us to make content. Chris Williams, they're also growing a goat in an artificial womb. I think I saw that story, actually. I think I saw that. See, Jenny Simon likes the hat. Rapid. Idiocracy is real. Yeah, unfortunately it is. Black, white, unite. New Nazis, says Reverend Jonathan Wint. I have no clue what you're referring to, but it's funny anyway. Oh, archaeologists made an incredible discovery. 1,800-year-old dog that was pretty well preserved. Archaeologists recently discovered the remains of a remarkably well-preserved dog from ancient Rome, and the discovery highlights the prevalence of ritual sacrifice in antiquity. By the way, it is extremely funny that this happens on the same day that they announced the reincarnation of the direwolf, namely Romulus and Remus. If you know the story of Romulus and Remus, you'll understand why this is exceptionally insane. Archaeologist Arne Verbrugge, I have a feeling I'm probably mispronouncing that, of Flanders in Belgium, told Fox News Digital that the excavation took place at the former ancient Roman regional center called Vicus in the village of Zeke. Pictures show the dog's mouth largely intact. Several teeth were retained, as well as its entire skeleton. The creature was found under a stone floor that aided its preservation, Verbrugge said. Most of the bone we find in our region from the Roman period is already heavily decayed, he said. In certain contexts, such as wells or ditches, the conservation is slightly better. Considering the picture that I'm seeing, I would say that's more than slightly better. Just saying. You could probably take DNA from that and have like a 2,000-year-old dog. Wouldn't that be cool? Then you can breed it with the dire wolves. That'd be funny. I think around the time of the ancient Roman Empire, if I remember correctly, technically speaking, there were still woolly mammoths in the world. Not anywhere near the Roman Empire. They were up in northern Siberia. I'm pretty sure that they still existed as of 4,000 years ago or thereabouts. Stevie, hey, I saw you on Kino Casino last night. No, I wasn't on there. They're just hyping over me. They'll get theirs. I'm not really particularly concerned. Spike, you are getting close to 1,000 on X. Maybe you need to go after 4 p.m. or 6 p.m. You have to screw with the algorithm. Wait, I've got 1,000 people watching live on Twitter right now? I can't really monitor it because I'm using StreamYard. So you gotta understand, I can keep attention on the YouTube comments and the Rumble comments, but I'm not really capable of having a third thing open. Close to 1,000 on X. Jeez, maybe I need to reprioritize. Chris Williams, your opinion on if they tried to grow humans too? I actually knew a test tube baby back in the day. My sister had a friend in high school that I met once and talked to briefly, and she was literally a test tube baby. She did not have a belly button or anything like that. She was grown in a test tube. It was very strange. She was kind of cute, though. Just saying. The dull one. How's the phone? It is working, thankfully. I don't know exactly what happened to it briefly there. I'm still going to get it repaired, and or have the information and the SIM card taken out and put into a new phone, because I can't risk it. I have to go down to New Orleans in a few weeks, and so if I lose service when I'm down there, I am super fucked. Clem simple, it was the brightness. Oh no. Based Acid Fox. Allah will smite Kino Casino. They have committed shirk. No, it's more like PPP is a retard. A fat ass. He's a piece of shit. He lashes out at me for literally no reason whatsoever. I didn't even hear of him. I was a friend of Andy Worski. I didn't do anything to their show. I didn't show them any disrespect. All of a sudden, he's lashing out at me literally without reason at all. And I respond and I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? I tried to message Worski and I'm like, what the hell is happening? He never got back to me. Now, I have no problem with Andy Worski whatsoever. I was part of one of the biggest shows ever on the history of the goddamn internet live streaming circuit, and it was hosted by Worski. And I had a great time. I talked to him fairly frequently. I had his back when he had fucking problems going on. I never offered him any insult whatsoever. I never insulted him. I never attacked him. I had nothing but praise for him. I made a video years ago and I said, look, this dude could be the next goddamn Howard Stern. Unfortunately, he is the next Howard Stern, but apparently not in a positive way. Which is sad, because the dude's got a lot of talent. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going on with that. I'm not going to deal with it. I don't give a fuck. King of Biltong. Try our Biltong. Almost 50% protein packed with B12, creatine, iron, zinc, and much more. Perfect snack addition to your weekly meal prep. BiltongUSA.com. Use code STICKS for 10% off. Trust me, you should definitely get some. Stevie, Sticks, thoughts on PWR? I'm not sure exactly what that is, actually. Yeah, I'm sure that the people at Kino Casino, they're going to clip that out and they'll use it on their next show. Well, any attention is good attention. Perfectly fine. Superior defense. He thinks you beat women and you're an alcoholic. Well, I mean, he's entitled to be wrong if he wants to be. Means absolutely nothing to me, dude. I make my own content, much more relevant than theirs. If you want to complain about me, that's alright. You have the right to speak your mind. If you believe that I'm cringe or you believe that I'm a terrible person, you can go ahead and make videos about me. There's never been a time in all of my years of content creation where, unless somebody was directly defaming me and claiming that I did something illegal or something like that, that I've ever even reported a video. I don't care if you spam about me. It means nothing. Michael D'Angelo, can't wait to eat some dodo. It was irresistibly delicious. Thoughts on what was found under the Great Pyramid. Also, are you buying the Eve dip? Not the latter, no. I'm not buying any crypto at the moment. I thought that it was fascinating that they found so many chambers under the pyramids. And I was thinking to myself, why didn't you know that they were there before? It made no sense. Apparently, there is an enormous complex underneath the Great Pyramids, linking them together. This brings up a whole lot of questions. Number one, what are they for? And number two, how are they tied together when the pyramids were not built at the same time, which shows pre-planning. You would have had to have built them, I believe, before the pyramids went up at all, which shows that you pre-planned all three pyramids. Potentially. It's a big mystery within archaeology. It's probably one of the biggest revelations that we've had in the last 100 years, actually. Adam, Sticks, do you like to eat dildo? If you mean the bread with dill in it, yes. If you mean something else, no. I'm not into that. I am super straight. I'm only interested in vaginas. I mean, let's be frank. I mean, we're all adults here, so it's perfectly fine to talk about such things. Superior defense, but they defame you saying you beat a woman in Louisiana. Yes, that did not happen. And all your drinks are alcoholic. This is from Starbucks. Same otherworldly beings just to show... Oh, wait. That's the wrong comment. Sue them for defamation and claim damages. It could be why you lost viewership. I don't give a shit. Go ahead and let them say whatever the hell they want about me. Heathen is cool. Apparently has a vagina. That's wonderful. Use one at the moment. Just saying. You have no idea how wild things can get here. There are over 1,000 people watching on X. See, the problem is, I wish that I could look at the comments there, but there's no way for me to actually queue them up. They just, they won't collate to the actual video stream. Chris Williams, what if the elites try to engineer people with it? That could be a problem, yeah. And they probably would, by the way. I think they're already basically doing that in China. They've got, like, literal designer babies and shit. nBvEj. So, been watching you since you were a young punk bare-chested in a leather jacket. Don't change for anyone. Screw your haters. We'll still be here. Thank you. It does help when somebody reminds me of how insane I am. It's funny, because some people will say, well, Sticks, you're going crazy. You're dressed as a pirate and saying weird shit. Dude, were you on the channel 10 years ago? I was way more crazy then. If anything, I'm somewhat more normal now. Almost a sellout. Shit, I'm gonna do something about that. Damn it. By the way, the new Red Bull, absolutely spectacular. I wish it wasn't empty. Target the Timcast time slot. His morning show blows goats. I like Tim. I've been on his show. Zeta is correct. Sticks broke the COVID story before it left China. Do you know where I got the story from? 4chan. I got it weeks before the legacy media said a mumbling word about it. And I told people, you need to get a couple of weeks worth of food. I unfortunately neglected to mention toilet paper. That was in short supply, but other than that, I like to think that I saved some goddamn lives. It's not bizarre to claim so. Trump goes after federal unions. It's about time. I agree. Link in the description again, archived of course. Federal unions have become a big problem. I would say go after the teachers' unions as well. No offense to any teachers out there. I'm hoping that you're doing a good job. But there are some teachers out there that do a shitty job, but they can't really be fired. The same is true with federal employees. You'll have one person who's crunching the numbers, they're doing their job, they're showing up on time, they're doing what the taxpayers are paying them to do. But then you'll have another person who shows up late, sits in their fucking office, twiddling their thumbs, and they're not goddamn doing anything. But again, because of the unions, you cannot fire them. That's a real big problem. If we're going to have federal, taxpayer-funded positions, or state-funded positions, by the way, at the very least, can they actually do the job that they're being paid to do? Even if you don't downsize the agencies, and you probably could if the efficiency level was higher, at the very least, everyone there should be actually doing their job. If I go to a store and I say, hey, I want a job. I want to flip burgers. I want to shuffle paperwork. I want to do anything under the sun. And I get hired. But I refuse to do the job. And I just fucking sit there. Eventually, I get fired. And there's nothing that I can do about it, which is the way that it should work. But federal workers and people within unions in general are not treated the same way. I remember that time I was debating on Break the Rules with Jessica Burbank. And she was gung-ho for unions. and effectively believed that everyone should be forced into a union. I said, that makes absolutely no sense. That was a fairly easy debate, by the way. It wasn't the most difficult that I've had. It was also fucking hilarious. Unions are not a good thing. They can be useful, but they should be voluntary. They shouldn't apply to federal workers or state workers in any meaningful capacity, and they shouldn't apply to anything that is taxpayer funded or subsidized. If you want to have a burger flippers union to collectively bargain, and it's voluntary, so you can flip burgers and you don't have to join the union, but you can join the union. No problem. Total voluntarism. That's perfectly fine. You have a union for tire manufacturers, you have a union for steel workers or whatever. As long as people are able to opt out and they say, I don't want to pay money into the union, I don't care if they're bargaining, I don't want to be part of it. That's all right. Unions in and of themselves are not the problem. Involuntary unionism and taxpayer-funded unionism are the problem. Yeah, police unions. Yeah, I know that this dude stole the coke from the lockup, but we can't do anything about it because, he's unionized. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I know lots of good cops. When I was in jail, I was never mistreated. I should tell jail stories sometime. There was this one dude, and he was in the cell directly across from me. Oh man, was he messed up. I have no idea what drugs he was on or what dosage he was on, but he was completely screwed. I'm assuming that it was a combination, I believe, of alcohol and meth. If I had to read his symptoms, that's what I would expect him to have come back on. He was out of his mind. He's sitting there yelling, and he's saying weird shit that doesn't make sense. And, he was talking to me, actually, from, across, and, he didn't have any problem with me, I guess. I was just, I'm like, I was tired as hell, so I'm like, what the fuck am I listening to? And he didn't seem like a bad dude or anything, but then he starts in on the dude in the cell beside him. There was an older black gentleman actually in there. And the dude is threatening him and saying weird shit like he's gonna, attack his wife, he's gonna fuck him up and stuff like that. He was blasted. And by blasted, I mean I've never seen a person on more drugs than that individual. And I'm surprised that the guards didn't remove him from the cell block and put him in solitary or something like that. He was going crazy. He started trying to rap, and he was dancing around and like making weird gestures, and then he would randomly say other things that had nothing to do with the rap that he was trying to do. I don't know. It was a weird experience. Oddly enough, if that dude were sober, he'd probably be a pretty cool dude. Mike the Wop, clank, motherfuckers. Hi, Tarl. Hello to you, Mike. Yeah, so that's a bit of a jailhouse story. It was weird. I've seen some weird fucking shit. Like, I saw a skinhead go off, and he was the only other white person in the goddamn jail down in New Orleans. He was the only one that raised problems. All the black people there, supposedly the stereotype is, Crips and Bloods and stuff like that. No, they were the respectful ones. It was the skinhead that went off. When I saw that, I was like, God, this is a different experience than what I expected. Then I was like, oh God, I'm in jail. And then I was like, it's not that bad other than the food. Fox, did you get any jailhouse cock? That never happened. Unless you are a sexual predator, like a rapist, child molester or something, you're probably not going to get fucked in jail unless you happen to try to fuck somebody else, or if you're offering your services and you happen to be gay. Zeta, New Orleans has interesting locals. Yeah, I know, I've experienced this. I fit right in, dressed like this. I can't wait to get down there. Jenny, you can't even get the ingredients for good drugs anymore unless you're the government who is making the synthetics, in my opinion. You are correct. Search government meth lab explodes NIST. Yeah, wouldn't even know if it didn't explode. Yeah, the government is making lots of drugs, specifically the CIA. They're also the ones running the coke. The Coast Guard grabs the coke from traffickers. The CIA seizes the coke from them, and then they sell it interiorly. John Hoyle. Sticks was in a cell with big Bubs, and the warden came by. Then they found Bubs with a spoon stuck in his temple. Accidental death, it was called. No, that doesn't happen. In a Vermont jail, let me explain the food, for example. I mean, although I did get sick afterwards. I got some food poisoning, I think, from the sandwich. Pasta salad, actually restaurant grade. And give you an apple, you get fruit, you get all sorts of stuff. It was actually pretty good. And unlike in New Orleans, you actually get a bed and blankets, which was quite helpful. You don't get a pillow, though. They're afraid you're going to suffocate yourself, I suppose. But overall, I would say Vermont jails are pretty fucking posh. It's probably why it costs so much money. Ultimately, though, since half the people in there are falsely accused anyway, or get some lesser charge, I agree with funding the jail system fairly well. Robin Hood, pasta salad with fruit rating 5 out of 5. No, it wasn't fruity, it was basil-y, actually. It's pretty good. Lord George, are you drunk? Yeah, apparently a lot of people think that I imbibe a shit ton of alcohol. I am not drunk, actually. Oh yeah, we do have one more news story, by the way, to cover. Navarro. Vietnam's zero tariff offer means nothing. It's the non-tariff cheating that matters. There is some nuance here. This is the Nuance channel. Peter Navarro. So when you ask if we're willing to negotiate, the president will always listen. But let's understand what the problem is. When you have a country like Vietnam, let's take Vietnam, where they come to us and say, we'll go to zero tariffs. That means nothing to us, because it's the non-tariff cheating that actually matters. Let's do Vietnam. They sell us $15 for every $1 we sell them. About $5 of that 15 is China transshipping to Vietnam to evade tariffs. What does Vietnam do? They dump into our markets, killing our shrimpers, our people who make metal brackets, kitchen cabinets, agricultural products. They engage in intellectual property theft. They have the biggest number of cases, aside from China, at the Department of Commerce on dumping. So the point is, anyone who wants to come to talk to us about lowering your non-tariff barriers. Vietnam has a 10% VAT. Europe has a 19% VAT. We can't compete against that. We have tried. So yeah, Vietnam is trying to go around the normal tariff policies. So on paper, there is no tariff. It doesn't exist. But there is a tariff. It's definitely a workaround. That being said, in the case of Vietnam, considering how little we import from them, and considering how important it is to maintain relations with them, I would say just ignore it. Go after China, go after Canada, go after the European Union and so forth, go after economies that are much larger, and focus on them. Focus on a top-down approach. Canada, #1 trading partner. Mexico, #2 trading partner. China, #2 economy in the world. European Union, #3 economy in the world. Focus on them. We've got lots of allies in the rest of the world, Africa, South America, and so forth. We should be focusing on the American hemisphere. Go after them. Go after those. Leave the Vietnamese alone. Literally just ignore it. Are they working around through China? Yes. But we can tariff China. So it literally means absolutely nothing. If they try to dump goods through China as a third party, but we're combating the Chinese economically, well, you're going to lose now, aren't you? By the way, it bears mentioning, the Vietnamese are actually more positively inclined towards the US population than the US population is. I have a feeling it has something to do with the fact that they got invaded by the Chinese twice. Could have something to do with it. China really screwed that one. They lost both times. In fact, I think they lost 500,000 lives collectively. Vietnam is not a nation that you want to fuck with. The Vietnamese are pretty cool. I would love to be there right now. Partially for the weather and partially for the food. Phone to Levenbach. Holy fuck! Your take on invasive species is so profoundly ignorant. I don't care. I believe we should take species and put them all over the world and let the strong survive. It's called evolution. Gordon Uskin, ask your dad how he feels about the Vietnamese. He killed multiple Vietnamese people. He has no problem with them, and in fact enjoyed the food. I like how some people are like, I'm a Viet Cong. Okay, well, that was only part of Vietnam to begin with, and it's an ideological situation. It has nothing to do with their race or their ethnicity. I respect the Vietnamese. Alamandorius, hey Sticks, a watchdog report about our election up here just released yesterday is showing Chinese interference on behalf of the Liberal candidate Mark Carney, worried about a honkening up here. It'll probably happen. I will ignore that too. Haha. Baseball worldwide. How's that opioid-induced insomnia coming along, Tarl? I don't use opioids, just to be clear. The last time I used an opioid was when I was 15 years old and got my wisdom teeth out. I used exactly one Percocet, vomited, and dumped the rest in the toilet. Other than that, never. Not interested, dude. I don't use hard drugs. And I realize that the pills that they give you, they're hard drugs. Lord George, that's the heroin talking. Adam, I'm an alcoholic and a woman beater. Do they hate me? What's next? Genocide. Yeah, but the thing is, I never beat anyone. I don't use hard drugs. I never beat anyone. And I'm not currently inebriated. Some people will think it anyway, so it doesn't really matter. I know that the Kino Casino crowd is here. I'm sure that they'll report back to Crazy Andy and Peepee and whatever. No, Molo, I'm not going to take Kratom because I'm not sure if it's legal in my state. I've got to be careful because I've got a legal case against me. So, yeah, I can't really engage in that sort of behavior. Yeah, Stephen, Percocet, baby aspirin. Dude, it made me puke my guts out. Ramon C. GTC. What pirates ate historically? A lot of gruel, hardtack, salt pork, things like that. They also had a lot of citrus fruits aboard, because otherwise they would get scurvy. So limes and lemons and things like that. Yeah, it's funny seeing a bunch of fucking losers trying to call me out. Good fucking luck, dude. Hot dog man, been around junkies my whole life. You are fucked up, sir. I have used opioids exactly once in my entire existence, and it was prescribed to me because I got my wisdom tooth out. I have never used methamphetamine, cocaine, ketamine, or any of these other drugs. I did use psychedelics back in the day, even made videos about it. I used marijuana, occasionally. Not really a fan. And of course, I've imbibed alcohol and so forth. But I am not fucked up. I am actually sober. Unfortunately. BW, you seem better. Caffeine can last 12 hours, by the way. Shit, I thought it was only 6. Oh, maybe that's why I have insomnia. Well, I guess I have to put that away. Mela Brown, you are not a junkie, lol. Yeah, no, I'm not. I appear to be conversational, capable of speaking, perambulating, and so forth. Although, the other day, I injured my back, and when I was trying to walk down the road, it was so painful that I literally had to sit down on the sidewalk. And I had to call my fucking mom in order to come get me. Because there's a hill that comes up on Chisana Drive, and I couldn't actually walk up it. It was impossible. I tried, and it was so painful. I keeled over on the side of the grass. And keep in mind, I'm perfectly sober when I'm doing this. It had nothing to do with that. It had to do with the pain. The muscle right here, it seized up. And I was bent over, and I couldn't even goddamn walk. It was a big problem. Copium poppies, show us your arms. Arr, matey. Arr, we do have arms here. We have our cutlass. We have a flail. Yeah, I think that this'll do the job. I have a feeling that nobody wants to mess with this. I mean, if you have a gun, you can always do something. If you don't, though, my dude, you're gonna have a fucking problem. I'm thinking about liquidating most of my possessions, by the way. There are certain possessions I would never ever get rid of under any circumstances. My cutlass is one of them. Sly Fox, have you tried sleeping in a hammock outside? No, I haven't. Kilowatt, stop explaining yourself to these trolls, Sticks. You don't need to justify yourself to anyone here. You owe us nothing and it's none of our business. I like to have a very close relationship with my subscribers. That means that I like to explain things. When things go wrong, when things go right, when I accomplish something, when something happens, I like to keep everyone informed because, you know, I just do. John Lennon arc, says JC Denton. Well, hopefully not, because then someone's going to blow my head off, I suppose. Cultivated mind, Sticks. Look into mugwort. It's legal and strong. We can't use it in our formulas because it's an insurance liability. Used it before, actually. Lord George, explain the jailhouse rock you talked about in the DMs. Oh, I made a cover of that years and years ago. It was called Jailhouse Cock, actually. And it was basically about gay jailhouse sex. I can't remember exactly how it went. I'd have to remember it. It was pretty good. BW, I used to drink 16 Mountain Dews a day. How are you even goddamn alive? Had to cut in half to go a week and then cut in half again. How are you still alive? Would be my question. God damn. 16 Mountain Dews. How much goddamn sugar would that be? That'd be like 800 grams of sugar or something like that. Holy shit. Holy fuck. American Horse Pirate. What was that old cover Styx did? It was Jailhouse Conk. It's like, warden threw a party in the county jail. I can't remember how. I'd have to look back at the lyrics. But it was basically an Elvis cover, and it made it about gay prison sex. This doesn't really happen in jail unless you're fucked up and you're like a rapist or something. For the most part, just leave other people alone. Don't fuck with them. Leave them be, and you'll be fine. John Hoyle, have you ever tried the lunge at the judge technique in court? If so, does it work? Saw that video, by the way. Yeah, I know exactly what you're referring to. That was pretty funny. No, I'm not going to lunge at the judge. God damn, 16 Mountain Dews. Holy hell. Yeah, I'll be right back. Please. Just a sec. I'm confused about how you can survive under such conditions. I'll be right back. All right, everyone. I got a mail call. Let's see. Oh, something from Mr. Cummings. Ooh, I'll open that. And then, I don't exactly know what that is. I ordered some stuff. Not sure what I ordered, actually. What is this? I didn't order that. Why was that sent to me? I didn't order any fucking knife. Use that shit. I have no clue what's going on these days. Mr. Cummings. He's one of my clankers in Wyoming. He sent me all sorts of good stuff. I don't know. I'm just having a good day. The dire wolf has been de-extincted. Letters. Let's see. Ah, apparently his wife has insomnia as well. Oh, he must have shipped that. Oh. Thank you, Mr. Cummings. I'll try it. We'll see if it works. Just a moment here. Oh, we do have breaking news. I believe the Supreme Court has ruled with Donald Trump, #1, which is good news. And then apparently, let me try to get this news story up. I would put it in the description, but... Oh, come on, dude. See... What's your problem? Well, I guess the keyboard is not working. It should be, though. Never mind. Piss. Am I glitching? Testing, testing. Can you hear me and see me? Yeah, Cygnus, another Kino Casino fan, I'm sure. Okay, we're all good. Yeah, the keyboard appears to have an issue at the moment. I'm going to try to reconnect it, but this might knock out the... Jesus. This may or may not knock out the mouse. Let's hope that that works. Nope, now the mouse is not working, unfortunately. This happens all the time. Let's try to level that. Okay. Oh, that's not working either. Piss. Fucking. I hate technology sometimes. I have to rely upon it for my entire... Oh, there we go. Okay. Now, hopefully, this is going to work. Yep. There we go. It's very difficult to actually get that hatched in. There's something wrong with the USB 3 port on the computer. Supreme Court backs Trump on fired probationary federal employees. Oh, I love this. So basically, if you've been furloughed, you're screwed. Biotech company says it has brought an animal back from extinction for the first time. This is the most exciting scientific news in about 100 years, by the way, everyone. People are underestimating it. Mick Marty, does he have a wrestling injury? No, I don't actually know what fucking happened. When I was walking home last night, I went to the downtown to get some food and shit. But when I was walking back, all of a sudden my lower back twinged and it felt like shit. And I couldn't even stand up straight. I was standing at about a 45-degree angle. I literally fell down on the ground and I just sat there and I called my mom And I said, look, I need to be picked up because I literally can't even walk up this friggin' hill. If I do, it's gonna goddamn kill me. I have no clue what happened. Lord George, have you casted any spells on Andy Worski or curses? No, absolutely not. Not worth the time, not worth the effort. Texan Patrick, try reading the Bible while you lay down. Puts me to sleep, and I'm a Christian. I know you are a pagan, but I've been enjoying your content for a decade. From a fellow long-hair, weapon-loving freak. Thank you. Yeah, I have no problem with the Bible. I got a big-ass copy, actually, in the other room. It's one of those older Bibles that it's not just the Bible, it's also huge amounts of explanations. It's thousands of pages long. And I enjoy reading it. Joris Wildenbeest, jealousy of the sober. I think you'll find that Worski is not entirely sober himself. Just saying. I believe he imbibes certain white powdery substances on a regular basis. But the thing is, I don't give a shit. He can do exactly what he wants. Didn't he threaten to kill some dude in Vegas at one point? Okay, go ahead and judge me. Lord George, Andy is the same compared to you. That makes me laugh. I don't think you understand. I've never beaten anyone up. It's never happened. That being said, I'm not going to remark considerably on my legal cases until the legal cases are done, because I'm not retarded. Worski appears to be retarded. I don't even understand, that's the whole problem. I don't mind if somebody has a problem with me, but when they have a problem with me and I can't judge why they have a problem with me, what specifically set them off, when they are in error, it pisses me off because I don't understand the situation. It doesn't matter if somebody dislikes me. That's perfectly fine, as long as I understand why they dislike me. With Andy Worski, though, we may not have been like brosifs or anything like that, but we were on reasonably good terms. And so when he randomly goes off, and his co-host goes off even worse, despite literally knowing nothing about me, that becomes a problem. So, I don't really care. Twisted Jack. Shit farmers. No, Andy Worski has the right to claim that he's an influencer. Absolutely. He ran one of the most influential broadcasts of all of internet history, actually. I was literally on it for literally their top show. He does a good job. I told him, I said, you know, if you play your cards right, you're going to end up being the next fucking Howard Stern. And he seemed to be happy about that. And I was praising him because he's a talented individual. It's not that he lacks talent or anything like that. It's more that he's going to alienate people that would come on his show, give him more latitude, because of this fat ass that he's decided to take on as a co-host. Ultimately, that's the problem. It's not Worski. It's this pee-pee dude. He's a fucking retard. He has no idea what he's talking about. He's lashing out at people who are long-term friends of Andy Worski, or at the very least long-term associates, like I am. And I've tried everything that I could to promote Andy Worski. All of a sudden, this dude comes out of goddamn nowhere and starts talking shit about me. Worski doesn't say anything. And that was my only problem. I'm like, I don't care if your co-host doesn't like me, but at the very least, can you say something to him? Never happened. Texan Patrick, when I worked at a college 20 plus years ago, I made a bumper sticker that said, "Have your Democrats spayed or neutered." Didn't make me any friends. Lefties blow goats. That's hilarious, actually. OG George Bear. Wolves kill so many thongs humans eat. I think you mean things. Large game. Well, I mean, if we make enough of them, we can eat them too, so there's no problem. Cat. All these comments sound like they are coming from the same person with multiple accounts. Pathetic. They are obsessed with you, Tarl. Yeah, there are a handful of people that are, but it's not all the same account. It's mainly people from the Kino Casino, which is, again, regrettable because I never had a problem with Andy Worski. I still don't have a problem with Andy Worski. I don't understand why he's going after me at all. I can understand, like, his fat co-host has a problem with me, but I never even talked to him, and he just suddenly lashed out at me. Turtle's Toy Box. You should go on the Kino Casino show and address these charges, Sticks. That'd do it, right? No, what I'm going to do is go to court. I will address the charges there. And when I am exonerated on these charges, I am going to literally cripple these people. That's what's going to happen. That's the way you do it, my dude. You don't go to the court of public opinion. If you are charged with any form of crime, whether it is slight or whether it is considerable, you go to the court first, you get a good lawyer, and then you fight it there. And then you can go to the court of public opinion. In the end, there is going to be a lot of people eating crow. It's going to be very, very amusing, actually. Inner City Pigeon. It's because PPP is a soldier of God and you worship demons. He is simply smiting you. Good luck with that. You'll see who's smitten in the end. I do not worship demons. I'm friends with them. Hey, Sen. Hey, caught you live. Good luck with everything. Thank you. Sly Fox, no, Sticks, you're not going to literally cripple them. You're going to figuratively cripple them, I guess. Linguistics matter, especially in a courtroom. I've got a lawyer to speak for me. Considering the price that I paid for him, I think that he'll do a fairly good job. Anyways, yeah, I'm not particularly worried. I care about less and less these days. Yeah, Magister Templey, the most holy of gluttons, lol. Yeah, he's totally not guilty of a deadly sin. Considering he weighs 400 fucking pounds. But of course, all of us are the problem. Texan Patrick. In the late 70s, we had a small ranch and befriended the cows. Then our dad would say, "Guess who you're eating? Ha ha ha. Everything is potential food." Also had to Christy gnome some dogs that got chickens. Goodness. Mike the Womp. Ever watch that show, Flight of Three Conchords? It sounds familiar. Funny as hell. Musicians, comedians, original songs played in the episodes. I believe that I might have seen that. Let's see, Woods. Caffeine will keep you away. You should cut way back. I've only had one energy drink today. Cosmic Relief. Reminder, Andy Worski is Portuguese. That's all good. No, I just don't understand why, if his co-host is going after someone that he's been relatively connected with, uh, why he wouldn't, defend that person to an extent. I mean, I don't care if somebody criticizes me, but if somebody is like hauling off completely, just say something. Say, come on, man, or something like that. That's all you had to do. I don't understand it. I would do that for Andy. If I had a co-host and they hauled off on Andy Worski, for example, like really hauled off on him, I would say, okay, that's enough. I would do that for him because I respect his work. I don't want him to get fucked in the ass, and I respect what he's doing. So I would try to say, look, topical criticism, perfectly okay. There's nothing wrong with that. You have a problem with him, so you can address that problem. But if you have a significant problem, especially when you lean into legal claims, you're going to need to fucking tone it down. Because I'm not going to deal with that. I don't want it on my channel. I don't want it on my stream. I don't want it in my life. And I don't want it in my personal interactions. So you're going to have to cool it. That's what I would do. I suppose that Andy decided not to do that with PP. Whatever. Again, I don't really mind. It's just sad. S.C. Woods, also the movie Top Secret is so very funny at so many different levels. Oh, I think I've seen that. Yeah. HS, it's a shame really. Even though there's religious differences, you and PPP and Ashton have a lot more in common than you know. Yeah, I mean, I had looked at his stuff. I didn't think that we were particularly ideologically opposed. Some differences, but overall, generally as a rule, good. Uh, but he got completely wasted, I suppose, and decided to haul off on me. And it's rather sad. Medicare and certain others, Kino Casino, Medicare, others, all gunning for me. Well, wait until the gun is pointed in the other direction, motherfucker. Just saying. You gotta realize, again, I'm intelligent enough to know. It's not good to go to the court of public opinion. It's good to go to the court. The problem is that people, when they are reasonably well known, and I am, reasonably well off, and I am, they tend to think their career is going to be completely destroyed if anyone talks badly about them in any way. And so they respond automatically to any form of judgment from other content creators. What you need to do is ignore that completely. You can talk about the fact that they're talking shit about you, as I just have, but you don't talk about your fucking case. Take it to the goddamn court. That's the only thing that matters. If you prevail there, then you can hold up a piece of paper and say, look, I was found not guilty. They dismissed the charges. You can go and fuck yourself. And you will absolutely crush them. But you can't do that if you start talking about the case itself, because you could incriminate yourself. It doesn't matter if you're guilty or if you're innocent. The matter of fact is that it has to do with the legal system. So you deal with that first, and then you can deal with the court of public opinion. Then you can hold up that piece of paper and say, look, the case is dismissed against me. I don't know what you're talking about. Well, you have no leg to stand on. You're fucked. Because you've been talking about me for fucking months, but now you're screwed, basically. That's what you do. Daryl Oliver, felted. You'll see who's felted in the end. S.C. Woods, also the movie... Oh, I already read that one. Never mind. Yeah, the clankening will happen. I have no doubt about that. But you have to wait. You have to be patient. You have to show strategic patience in order to accomplish these things. Most people, if they, again, have any relevance at all, the first thing that they do is they go to the court of public opinion. And then they say all sorts of crazy shit. And then the investigators and the prosecution can look at what they said and use it against them. I am too intelligent for that. Not going to happen. Radicalized online. Internet content creators always end up like this. Why? Well, in my case, it's because somebody didn't like me. Zeta, for instance, if Styx was to sue Jeremy for malicious slander, he wouldn't necessarily mention it. I would never do that. Jeremy's been nothing but good for me. He's a cool dude. He pulled me out of a significant mess, and he deserves credit for that. I have his back. Jeremy is one of the few people in the world that I would truly have the back of. And I don't give a fuck if anyone has a problem with him. There isn't the average person is not going to pay $7,500 fucking dollars in order to get you out of goddamn jail. Let's put it that way. And he's like 6'7" too. He's like a giant. Imagine him next to Scott Presley. That'd be funny. American Horse Pirate. Yes, I already have. I did a bunch of live streams, actually, in lieu of pay. And now the balance is right. One Tall Order. Sticks. Do you know what happened to Ozzy's robots? Used to see him and hear him all the time in chat, but just realized today it's been quite some while since the last time I remember seeing him here. I am not sure where Ozzy's went, actually. Yeah, he's, Oh, that's a good question. Yeah, I don't know. Texan Patrick. Decades ago, there was a steakhouse commercial in Texas that promoted the beef, then said we have fish and chicken for vegetarians. Also, Old Pace picante sauce, and dogging on non-Texas sauces. Get a rope. Hey Sen, do you know approximately when your legal woes will be behind you? I am not going to mention anything about anything regards to my legal case. I'm sorry. I do trust you, but I'm not going to make that public. My case is my own. Alamandorius, I would if I had that kind of cash available. Yeah, Jeremy strikes me as being one of the nicest people around. Hope I can buy his coffee someday. It is pretty good. I am a fan of Clank Blend. From Jam and Bean. But I will say Coffee Brand coffee is quite good, yes. Carrie Ray, don't say a word. Exactly. If you get charged with a crime, don't say a fucking thing to anyone outside of your immediate inner circle, and only those that you can fully trust. Don't say anything to your friends. Don't say anything online. Don't do fucking goddamn shit. Lawyer up, keep silent, and then you go into the court. Once you're done with that, hopefully you've either gotten a plea deal, the charges were dismissed, you found not guilty, whatever happens, that's the hope. If you have a private lawyer, you're more likely to get the charges dismissed, by the way. Once that happens, then you can talk about it. Do not do that until the case is over. It is imperative that you take this advice. This is, by the way, legal advice. Any lawyer in the world will tell you the same thing. You can talk to police if it's an interpersonal conversation. You just happen to be in the cafe or something. If the police are talking to you, normally it's because they intend to attempt to charge you with a crime. It's generally not a great idea to talk to them at that point, because they've already made up their minds. And in some cases, depending on the crime, they may not have a choice. They may have to charge you. They may not even want to, but they have to. For instance, anything related to neglect of a child, domestic violence, rape, anything like that, any severe crime, they have no choice but to take you in. They have to take you in because if you are guilty, their thought is, well, if we let this person out, we can get charged with a crime because the person might go right back out and do more crimes, and they're going crazy. For example, you're charged with aggravated assault. They're going to take you in. You may be completely innocent of that charge. The police, though, don't know that you're innocent of aggravated assault. So they're going to take you in. Because if they let you out and you are guilty, you might go and batter someone's skull in and kill them. Then who's responsible? Police. The family of the slain will sue them. And they will lose their jobs. So they're going to take you in. And they're going to process you. And so it doesn't matter if you're guilty or innocent. They're going to process you anyway, depending on the nature of the crime. If it's something simple like you jaywalking or something like that, they probably just fine you on the spot. If it's something that is more meaningful, they're going to take you in. That's the way that it works. This happened to me on 2 different occasions. Have I broken the law? No, I have not. And this is what I'm going to be arguing in court, actually. I'm not going to go any further into detail about that because the case is still open. That being said, speaking to the police, generally a bad idea. I mean, unless you're, so self-evidently innocent that you're basically an angel or something, probably not a good idea. You can talk to them about topical things. You can do all sorts of things, but it's not a good idea to discuss, generally speaking, the aspects of your case in the public square. You don't need to do that. Content creators typically run afoul of this. This has happened on a number of occasions. So yeah. No, Steph, I'm not threatening anyone with guns. Texan Patrick, hey Tarl, can you shout out one of my favorite content creators, Six Hexenhammer? Stupid Al Gore them is fucking with him. Also possibly new Rumble lineup. I watch but rarely chat. That appears to be me. Yeah, I'm gonna shout out myself. That sounds great. Opinionated junkie. People dislike stop snitching, but NDAs exist. I don't believe in using non-disclosure agreements. I don't care if people talk about me. That's not the point. It's just, if you're going to talk about me, at least be accurate in what you're saying. That's all I'm asking. Yeah, bye, Steph. Not dealing with that. Sucks to be you. You'll have to get a new account or something like that. I don't have any box wine, by the way. Although people apparently think that I'm drunk 24/7. It's rather sad. Bog, I bet he sucks in reality. Only if there's a vagina in front of me. Anyway, I'm going to leave off here. I'll be back tomorrow, and we can talk about more news. I'm hoping we get an update on the dire wolves, because that would be fucking great. That would be absolutely fantastic. It's some of the most exciting news in literally 100 years, and there are barely any people talking about it. You literally de-extincted a species. An entire species was just brought back from the grave after thousands of years. And for some reason, nobody's really talking about it. Tom's Esquire, no quartering yesterday. Is that officially done? No, he's trying to talk to Rumble about it. Rabbit, yo-ho-ho, and a bottle of non-alcoholic rum. Yeah, I don't need any rum. I've got water and some of this Canada Dry stuff, but it kind of went flat, so I'm not really drinking that. No, thank you. Heathen is cool. Vagina. Well, if you want to give me yours, all you have to do is DM me. That's about all. Peace out.